welcome to the 206th episode of Maryland's Missing and the Murdered. Maryland's Missing and the Murdered is a weekly YouTube channel that covers the topic of missing and or murdered individuals from the state of Maryland. If you like this channel, please like and subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified when the next cases are released. On December 31st, 2012, 7-month-old Kendall Brown was rushed to the hospital. He was being watched by his father, Francois Brown. At the hospital, Kendall was found to have fractured ribs and bleeding in his brain. He died 3 days later on January 3rd, 2013. The medical examiner determined that he had died from blunt force trauma. His father, Francois Brown, was arrested on January 7th and eventually was convicted of child abuse resulting in death. The judge sentenced him to 4 years. However, Francois Brown only served 2 years and 11 months before he was released in December 2015. In May 2018, Francois Brown began dating Whitney West. Whitney had 3 children, an 8-year-old son, a 7-year-old daughter, and an 18-month-old named Zaray Gray. Brown would stay the night 3 to 4 times a week with Whitney. On July 18, 2018, Brown came over to Whitney's house and Whitney cooked breakfast for everyone. As Whitney began to get clothes together to donate to Goodwill, Brown offered to take the children to the playground. While at the playground, Zaray allegedly tried to go down the sliding board but bumped his head. Whitney's 8-year-old later told police that they were all racing and he had witnessed Brown yanking on Zaray's arm, which made him cry. The little boy and his sister raced home, leaving Brown alone with Zaray. When they got home, Brown took Zaray to Whitney, where Zaray began vomiting. While Whitney was cleaning up the vomit, Mr. Brown changed Zaray's clothes. Whitney thought that perhaps Zaray was overheated from playing outside, and Whitney and her daughter left the home around 4 p.m. While they were gone to run errands, Mr. Brown took the 8-year-old and Zaray outside to play. Mr. Brown and Zaray went back inside while the 8-year-old boy continued to play outside. During that time, Mr. Brown alleged that Zaray threw up again 2 more times, so he bathed him and then put him down for a nap. Whitney and her daughter returned about 7 p.m., and when Whitney checked on Zaray, she noted that he was laying on his stomach and was moaning in his sleep. It did not alarm her, and so she went to make dinner. She did not wake Zaray for dinner. After dinner, she went to change Zaray's diaper, and it was then she noticed that Zaray was non-responsive. 911 was called, and Zaray was taken to the hospital, where he died at 10:35 p.m. Zaray was noted to have bruises on his face, chin, neck, and mouth. Francois Brown was arrested for Zaray's murder on July 20th, 2018, after autopsy concluded the cause of death to be homicide. During the trial, the medical examiner testified that she found evidence of 2 blunt force impacts to the head and face and 8 blunt force impacts to the torso. Also found was significant internal injuries with tears to the bowels, which would have caused the vomiting. She further testified that such an injury would be caused by a lot of force and would not be consistent with falling off the bottom of a slide, adding that the injuries were consistent with an adult having punched Zaray. Zaray was also noted to have a fractured clavicle and that the clavicle fracture was indicative of blunt force trauma, either by direct impact or from pulling or twisting of the arm. Furthermore, she testified that the injuries that caused death had occurred within hours before the death and were consistent with an adult's punching of the child. On August 26, 2019, Francois Brown was convicted of second-degree murder and child abuse resulting in death. On November 7, 2019, he was sentenced to 40 years. Thank you for joining me this week. If there's a Maryland's missing or murder case you'd like to see on this channel, email me at marylandsmissing@gmail.com. Music is by Silent Vengeance. Sources will be listed in the outro. See you again next week. Be kind to one another. You never know what will happen tomorrow.